Welcome to the third Gaming Odyssey Awards, where I share the best and worst experiences in video games. Here I just consider games that I finished in this year, 2025. If you're interested about previous years, I will leave the link in the description. And yeah, I know I wanted to add some others to the list, but 2026 will be. In any case, here I talk about the best story, gameplay, graphics, combat track, chill track, soundtrack in overall, hardest boss in turn-based settings as well as action ones, best collector's edition, some worst experiences, and so on. Be sure to check the timestamps in case you're interested to look at something in specific. And it would be cool if you could also share which were the best video games you finished this year. Without further ado, let's begin. In the story department, the highest scores were Ender Magnolia, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Bravely Default, and Magical Librarian Ariana. I know there isn't too much to debate here. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 takes the lead by miles, as it is the combination between the Xenoblade games, at least so far. And what a way to wrap things here. Definitely the best story I played this year. The best gameplays were Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Ys 10, Ender Magnolia, and Castlevania Area of Sorrow. The gameplay I enjoyed the most was Ys 10. Now, the reason why I enjoy this game the most is because in harder difficulties, the dual system between Adol and Karja is simply frantic. Some bosses and challenges were simply extraordinary, as mastering the whole thing here takes its time. In the graphics section, I want to separate 2D and 3D concepts. In the 2D section, the contenders are Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Ender Magnolia, Blasphemous 2, and Castlevania Area of Sorrow. In all honesty, I would give the gold to Symphony, as it continues to captivate to this day, but I mean, the game is well known because of that. So, the next in line to me is Ender Magnolia. The general art presented in this game is also quite gorgeous. Most areas are eye-catching. As for the 3D art, here the highest rated games this year were Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Wizardry, Proving Grounds of Mad Overlord, and Bravely Default. To me, the one with the best graphics is Wizardry. Now, I decided to give it to this game because it has an excellent execution in general, enemy design, the way in which the labyrinth looks, shadows, attacks, and so on. In the third best category, or those games that I oftentimes call above decent, the contenders are Monster Hunter Wilds, Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, Class of Heroes 3, Buccaneer, Dead End Request Code C, Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, Touhou New World, and Wizard Symphony. The one I recommend playing is Wizard Symphony. Now, the main deal with this game is that the only available language is Japanese, but if you are into the RPGs, this one offers a quite unique experience with maps, puzzles, and interesting mechanics. Just because of the language, I will say that Monster Hunter Wilds is the next in line. And while I didn't really like what Capcom did here, I won't deny that I had a lot of fun with this game. There is always something addictive in these entries, but I am not sure if I wanna play the G rank in the future. In the second best category, or those games I called good or really good, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Starcrawlers, Ys 10, Tokyo Clan Pool, Ys the Odin Felgana, Touhou Spell Carnival, Castlevania Area of Sorrow, Magical Librarian Ariana, Witch Spring Heart, and Trails Through Daybreak 2. The one taking the silver is Ys 10. In general, it has a good story, with extraordinary gameplay, interesting ideas, and good music. Now, I am not a fan of the Royal Editions, but if you haven't played it and you wanna give it a try, wait for the next year, so you can check Proud Nordics. That is the version with newer bosses, dungeons, and so on. Before jumping into the best of best, let's check the music. As usual, let's listen to the best combat track, chill track, and, in overall, best soundtrack. I'll let some seconds play while I leave some thoughts about them. Before that, just consider reducing a bit the volume, just in case. For the overall best game I played this year, or those I call excellent, the contenders are Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Ender Magnolia, Bravely Default, Blasphemous 2, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The one taking the crown this year is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If you're into RPGs, I cannot stress this enough. Play those Xenoblade games. They are simply beautiful, and this one took the cherry by far. Extraordinary story, music, and amazing gameplay. Now, into the worst games, or the ones with the lowest scores we have. Lost Epic, The Lost Child, Wizardry, Proving Ground of Mad Overlord, Madou Monogatari, Fia and the Wondrous Academy, and Calamity Angels. In general, these are the games I find hard to recommend because of ideas, executions, or hiccups along the way. And while I enjoy them in their own accord, the one I don't really recommend, unless you want to know a bit about the very beginning in RPGs, is Wizardry. As a window to the past, it works, but in general, if the RPG is looked as a raw experience, what is presented here is simply way too raw. In the worst story, I would once again place Wizardry. Worst gameplay, ironically, and nothing against it, Wizardry. Worst graphics, Phantom Brave and The Lost Hero. And the Switch version of this game has way too many hiccups that it is hard to recommend. And worst soundtrack goes to Wizard Symphony. While I liked a lot its gameplay and ideas, unfortunately its soundtrack is just quite bland and forgettable. Moving on to the best collector's edition. There were multiple new additions this year. Some left things to be desired, while others were simply gorgeous, considering the number of things they had. So I wanna place Touhou Spell Carnival here, mostly because it has an amazing soundtrack and quite cool art book. In specific, the best art book, separating smaller ones and those that are complete compilations like that Metroid, Bravely, and Fire Emblem. The ones I liked the most were Phantom Brave and The Lost Hero. In general, this is a quite amazing art book that contains plenty of concept art worth checking out, plus the always appreciated hardcover and a good number of pages. As for the big art books, just because of a specific detail, I liked Fire Emblem a bit more. Yes, all of them have plenty of concept art, discarded ideas, comments, and numerous pages to indulge that taste for video game art. But the thing I simply loved the most was that it had every single conversation each character has in the whole game. And until this day I still remember plenty of details, and you have me looking at it with a stupid grin in my face. In any case, if you're interested, the other ones are quite amazing too. But that is a topic for another video. As for the hardest bosses, in turn-based setting, there were plenty of interesting challenges, like in-star crawlers. Some enemies in Tokyo Clan Pool were kinda relentless. If you play in harder difficulties, some are simply nasty. In Bravely Default, some can be tricky if you forget about them, and others are quite interesting to deal with. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had quite interesting challenges, but maybe they were more about time consuming rather than hard encounters. In any case, here I want to give the crown to Ouroboros from Bravely Default. Despite having played this game once, this dude is simply annoying if he stops multiple characters, leaving healing options out of the window, and while you can add some countermeasures, if RNG isn't on your side, yep, things go sour in a couple of turns. As for action games, in general the ones I remember the most came from Lost Epic, is the Odin Felgana, Blasphemous 2, Ender Magnolia, Touhou New World, and Magical Librarian Ariana. Now the boss that gave me the most problems here was one that I don't want to share because in this side of the lake it hasn't been released and I was playing in hard difficulty, so maybe I'll talk about them in another video in the future. So, the second hardest was Gilroy. This dude has some nasty moves where if you are not paying attention things go downhill in a matter of seconds. It can be quite challenging. Ultimately, you need to learn every move quite well to beat it. With this, thank you so much for joining me another fantastic year. Felices Fiestas y próspero año nuevo. Les deseo lo mejor. Hasta la próxima.